Good afternoon and welcome to the Imagine Golf Podcast, brought to you by Imagine Golf, helping you get the game you've always imagined. You can go to our site, imaginegolf.com, and check out all of our tools, including our free ebooks, practice plans, lesson plans, and training aids that we endorse. Or you can sign up for our free golf tips that go out once a week, every week, by simply dropping us your email. Hey, today we're going to talk in this episode about golf balls. Comes up frequently. I don't want to say all the time, but it comes up frequently where students and people will ask me, hey, does the golf ball matter? Does it matter, Daniel, what golf ball I play? And you already know that answer, right? Of course it does. Absolutely, of course it does. I used to think it was totally BS. I always thought that, you always played a golf ball that felt good, and that you thought anyway that performed well. But my wife reminds me I'm 57 now. I said I was 56 in another podcast, and she corrected me. She's always right. I used to think, again, like it really didn't matter. Whatever was in someone's price range that felt good and performed really well, or at least assumed it performed well, then play it, right? Find a golf ball on the course, play it. Pull a ball out of the water, play it. And now with the technology that we have, I mean, nothing. Let me re-emphasize that nothing could be further from the truth, right? You have got to play a ball that suits your game if you want to be better at golf. If you just want to go out there and have a good time and not worry about it, have at it. But if you're getting serious about the game, you want to shoot lower scores, you want to feel better and play better, then the ball does matter. Every year I go to the PGA show. I told you guys that before. And, I went down there about probably like 5, maybe even 7 years ago. And there was a booth down there. Get fit for your golf ball. And I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. But, I'm down there for 3 days and figure what the heck. And sure enough, man, on the launch monitors, that was the first time I really noticed the difference in the ball and how it performed. I always could feel it, but spin rates, launch rates, curvature, height, all of it was different with the different balls that were put in front of me. And I wasn't striking it any different, I assure you. With different clubs, everything performed different based on the ball they gave me. And in my particular case, it was a blind test, if you would. So you couldn't tell what ball you were hitting until it was over. So let's talk about why the golf ball matters. And actually, let's back up. Let's talk about what happens when you strike a golf ball, right? So first of all, when you strike a golf ball, every golf ball has a core, all right? And the better the golf ball, the smaller the core. So when you strike a golf ball actually compresses. Most of you know that. So just like a tennis ball, when you ever watch tennis on television, and you see the line calls and the ball is oval, the shadow of the ball is oval, it compresses when it hits something. So the same thing with a golf ball. When the face of a golf club hits a golf ball, it compresses. And if it compresses it enough, it will actually activate that core. And when a core is activated, a ball will fly farther. So there's a technology behind it, right? What does that mean to you? Well, look, if you select the wrong golf ball, all right, a golf ball that is not correct for your swing, then you may not be able to compress that golf ball, and you're immediately going to lose distance. And if you can't compress the golf ball as well, you're also going to usually impart more spin on the golf ball. And depending on the golf ball's cover, whether it's a 2 cover ball, whether it's a 3 cover ball, whether it's even sometimes there are even 4 covers out there, it's going to feel significantly different. So ultimately, there are 3 reasons why you should take a look at a golf ball that fits your speed, or your swing, I should say, right? And the first one we already mentioned is to maximize distance. The second is to control the spin, all right? Spin on certain clubs is good. Too much spin is never good, and not enough spin also is not good on certain clubs as well. So, and then ultimately, the better golf ball or I should say the golf ball that's better fit for you, you'll be able to control that golf ball left or right better. You'll be able to control the distance and be more consistent better than if you had a golf ball that wasn't tailored to you, all right? So the technology has changed significantly. What the good news is that everything is available online. So I'm going to give you a few guidelines as to what type of golf ball, not necessarily manufacturers per se. We're agnostic here at Imagine Golf, but at the end of the day, you're going to look for certain things in golf balls, and then you're going to try them out. And you're going to try them out for no less than 3 rounds. You're going to play the same golf ball for 3 rounds, and then that'll be enough sample size for you to say, hey, this is good, bad, or indifferent, if you would. So ultimately, you're going to find a ball that you feel good about, that is okay within your budget. They don't have to be expensive, and that performs. More importantly than all that other stuff, I think that a ball that performs. Because if you're playing a crazy inexpensive golf ball, but you're losing, 6, 7, 8, 10 golf balls around because you can't control the golf ball, you could afford to play maybe a better golf ball that is more suited for your game and your swing style, if you wouldn't swing speed. And then you won't lose as many golf balls. So you could afford a little bit of a better golf ball, if you would. So here's a basic guideline as to what you should be looking for in golf balls. If your swing speed, all right, if your swing speed is 85 miles an hour or less, all right, and that's about 80% of all golfers, you need to play a less or low compression golf ball. As low as 50, I've seen. And on the low side of the equation would be anywhere from 50 to probably 75, 70, 75-ish. All right. If your swing speed is between 80 and 100, you need to play a mid compression ball, and that's anywhere between 75 and 90 compression. And if your swing speed is 100 plus or higher, or actually 90 plus or higher, you should be playing a high compression golf ball. And a high compression golf ball is normally like the high end of all the manufacturers. So Titleist Pro V1 comes to mind, the standard, if you would, right? The gold standard, I should say. Wilson Staff is another one. And there's plenty of them. TaylorMade, I think it's TP5 is their top of their line. So if you're a mid compression, you should be playing like a Srixon Q-Star. That ball is going to be 2 or 3 layers. It's going to feel good off the face, and it's going to spin appropriately for your swing speed, and you're going to maximize the distance. The Kirkland balls fit in this category. I personally have played the Kirkland balls many, many times and get really, really good results from them. And you can't get a more inexpensive or better value, I should say, for your dollar. And then on the low compression side, balls like the Srixon Soft Feel or even the Callaway Super Soft, I believe, would be in that low compression. They're going to be 2 layers usually, and maybe like a Callaway might be 2 or 3 layers because it's a little bit more expensive. So the low compression are going to be 2, maybe 3 layers. The mid compression are always going to be 2 or 3 layers, usually 3 layers. And then your high line balls are going to be 3 or 4 layers. The more layers, as I mentioned before, the smaller the core, the more layers, typically the better feel of the golf ball that's out there, if you would. So you and believe it or not, you can overpower a golf ball, right? If you compress a golf ball too much. So as an example, you got a big hitter. My son is a perfect example. He's 6'3", 22 years old and pretty buff, and he can really, really generate a lot of club head speed. If he would play a low compression golf ball, believe it or not, he would absolutely, like that tennis ball analogy, make that ball change its shape. And when a golf ball changes its shape in the air, believe it or not, it will not fly through the air appropriately. And so the ball speed is down, the control is down, and the distance is way down. So for you big hitters out there, you really, really got to pay attention and make sure that you're not hitting a ball with a lower compression because you're not getting what you need out of the golf ball. The other thing you're going to notice with a golf ball over time, and this is probably on the second or third lesson, some people will notice immediately, on your chips, they are definitely going to feel better. Your short game in general, and when I say better, they're going to feel different. Different balls are going to feel different in their interaction with the golf club. I prefer a soft ball that feels soft off the club. Some players prefer a hard ball that feels very almost tinny off the club, if you would. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it out there. So you just got to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, playing the right compression first and foremost, and then going for the certain feel and the performance that you're that you're looking to get out of it. The other thing is putting. All right. You will absolutely notice a difference with putting. All right. It will feel way different with different golf balls. The higher compression balls, I tend not to like to putt with them. The lower compression balls feel fantastic off of putter head. Soft, very, very soft like. So it's all about preference, but it is in the end all about performance as well. So again, it does matter. And if you're looking for the ultimate performance, you got nice clubs, you're looking to score, you've taken a few lessons, you're trying to beat your buddies, you're trying to win a Nassau bet, whatever, make sure you get the appropriate golf balls. And if you can, get fit for a golf ball. Go see your local pro, go see your local golf store, roll up in there and let them know that, hey, I heard golf ball makes a difference, and I'd like to see if I can, use your simulator for a little bit and hit a few golf balls and see what performs better. Real quick, let's talk about what balls not to play. All right. Certainly, we're not looking to play any reconditioned golf balls. All right. They do not perform nearly as well as some, internet troll says they do, or some friend of a friend, buys them by the 5 dozen or whatever. They definitely do not perform. So don't waste your money on them. The other thing you don't want to use is you don't want to use multiple balls in a golf round. All right. Again, getting back to consistency, when you say it out loud, it just doesn't make sense, right? Many golf balls today do not have a compression rating stamped on them. So you could easily be playing all 3 different types of golf balls. And my God, when you factor in the softness and the layers and everything, there could be, 5 or 6 or 7 different types of golf balls that you play in one round. And when you're trying to be consistent, there's no chance that that's going to be a consistent round for you with those different types of golf balls in it. And then last but not least, it should go without saying, any balls that are in the water do not perform. All right. Now, if they're in the water overnight, yeah, sure. But if they're in the water 48 hours or plus, they are not going to perform, and they are not going to be as consistent as when they were new or when they were dry, we say, right? So stay away from reconditioned golf balls. Stay away from golf balls that were, found in the local pond, a company that goes in there with a scuba diver, pulls out the golf balls, shines them up, washes them up, and then sells them for relatively cheap. Leave those alone. It's not worth it, and you're actually just hurting yourself. And then last but not least, I think also stay away from any of the gimmicky golf balls. Any golf ball that has any type of huge claim on it, flies straighter, goes farther. While they all say that in some marketing spiel, if you would, but if you're online and this is the latest greatest golf ball and it's going to get you 20 yards further, just run. All right, that is absolutely not going to be the case. So, in closing, get fit for your golf ball. The golf ball does make a difference, and if you can't get fit for it, just do some homework and play with that golf ball for at least 3 rounds. All right, so get yourself a dozen or 2 or 3, depending on how good or bad your game is these days. All right, that's it today. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I appreciate the support. Just so you know, we've gone from price 2,500 in the rankings for golf podcasts all the way up to 116, and we're looking obviously to get into the top 10 in the upcoming year. So thanks again for your support. Hit the follow button below on wherever you're listening to this podcast and where you get your podcasts from. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, and everywhere where you get your iHeartRadio, and everywhere where you get your podcast. Thanks again, and have a great day.